Before I begin, I have to say that I was planning to make separate reviews of these two films, but after watching both of them back to back, I started to notice some surprising similarities. Each film tried to comment on American culture in the 1980s, and each told fictional stories set in the booming city of Dallas, Texas. So I felt it would be more interesting to compare what these two films had to say about the me decade and how each filmmaker tackled the subject matter. I hope you enjoy. You can't talk about True Stories without bringing up the Talking Heads. Formed in 1975, they were one of the few bands that successfully transitioned from the late 70s punk rock movement to being a staple on MTV in the 80s. Due to their early embrace of the music video, they were one of the most popular bands to watch on the Young Network and became one of the most visual bands to see live in concert. After the release of their 1984 concert film, Stop Making Sense, lead singer David Byrne wanted to take the band's visuals to the next logical step, a feature film. True Stories was filmed in the surrounding suburbs of Dallas in the summer of 1985, with the setting of the film being the fictional town of Virgil, celebrating the 150th anniversary of Texas becoming a state. What makes True Stories interesting is, well, the lack of a story. There really isn't any conflict, drama, or plot to speak of, besides John Goodman's character trying to find a wife, some comedic bits based on tabloid magazines, and the town putting on a talent show. So if there's no conflict, then what's the movie about? Well, it is about trying to show the viewer a brief moment in time. Filmed like a documentary, True Stories was trying to document life in mid-80s Texas. David Byrne plays our nameless narrator, who at the start of the film gives us a history lesson of all the events that led to this moment in time. After this introduction, he constantly breaks the fourth wall, describing the surroundings and the actions of our fictional characters, almost like the host of a wildlife special. Byrne guides us through all the staples of life in the 80s. Suburban sprawl, shopping malls, yuppies, televangelism, but he never participates or comments on what he sees. That responsibility is left to the music. What makes True Stories work is the terrific original soundtrack made by the Talking Heads. Each song used in the film tells us something revealing about our main characters and the time period, whether it be losing yourself in mall culture,
and every dream tells it all. And this is your story. You dream with a heart. You're the dream operator.
commercial television,
Something bad.
with me. And I can love you like a color TV. Oh, and now love that you said. Come on and try.
Oh, ooh, I like that.
Got love for sale.
I think they're aerobicizing.
government conspiracy theories,
You got the CBS and the ABC. You got Time and Newsweek. They're the same to me. Now don't you wanna get right with me? I hope you get everything you need. Well, it's a puzzling evidence. Puzzling evidence. Puzzling evidence. Haunting your home.
Or just wanting to fall in love.
We don't want freedom. We don't want justice. We just want someone to love. Someone to love. Someone to love. Someone to love.
The lack of action in true stories might annoy some viewers, but I think it makes the film much more profound, because the film really isn't about our cast of strange characters, Texas, or even the 1980s. It is about the passing of time, and this brief moment in 1985 Virgil, Texas will be lost in time, just like the dinosaurs. In contrast to true stories, talk radio took a much more subjective view of life in the 1980s. Originally written as a stage play by Eric Bogosian in 1987 and adapted into a film by Bogosian and Oliver Stone in 1988, talk radio tried to expose some of the worst aspects of the decade through a fictional talk radio show hosted by Barry Champlain, who entertains his audience by taking calls from drug addicts, religious zealots, and racists.
Oh, Chet, so nice to hear from you again. Should you be out burning crosses or molesting children or something?
I'd much rather be talking to you.
How about training pit bulls?
Think you're so smart. You get the package I sent down to the station?
Package?
You got it, I know you did.
Well, you sent me a present, Chet?
See, I couldn't decide whether to use a timer or not. Guess you'll just have to find that out when you open it.
Wait a minute, hold on. You're telling me you sent me a bomb in the mail?
Wrapped in brown paper. See, I know you're looking at it right now. Yeah, you just take some C4, roll it in a pile of nuts and bolts, and it pebbles. It does the job.
When you watch the film today, you may come away thinking that Oliver Stone and Bogosian were just trying to be sensational. But racism, and particularly neo-Nazism, was a real problem in America during this time. The inspiration for the film and its lead character came from the murder of real-life talk show host Alan Berg, who was killed outside of his home in Denver by a white nationalist group called The Order. The film also mentions the book The Turner Diaries, a novel popular with white nationalists, including Oklahoma City bomber Timothy McVeigh.
Yeah, for those of you who don't know it, it starts idiotically enough in the year 1991, and it's written as a diary by a young white racist electrical engineer who joins an underground paramilitary organization known as The Order.
That's right.
Oh, am I doing all right? Oh, great. Well, they institute a revolution against Zog, the Zionist-occupied government of America, and along the way they kill all the mongrel races, Jews, blacks, homosexuals, feminists, and other mud people. It's an idiotic book written for people with bubblegum brains who never got out of the fourth grade watching reruns of The Blob.
Champlain may have the moral high ground over his racist callers, but it should be noted that Champlain likes to battle with bigots and racists on his show, not because he is a moral man, but because he knows it will attract more listeners. In the film, Champlain constantly picks fights with his listeners, no matter what the topic is, and is willing to blatantly lie to them on air so he can start an argument.
You're hearing them anyway. So here I am walking around this concentration camp, and I see something on the ground. I picked it up. Guess what I found, Chet? A tiny Star of David. Very old. Who knows, it might have belonged to one of the prisoners of the camp. Maybe a small boy torn from his parents as they were dragged off to the slaughterhouse. I kept that Star of David. I know I shouldn't have, but I did. I keep it right here on my console. I like to hold it sometimes. In fact, well, I'm holding it right now. I like to hold it in my hand to give me courage. Maybe some of the courage that small boy had as he faced unspeakable evil can enter me as I face the trials in my own life.
As a character, Champlain is an empty shell. He's been on the air so long and delivered so many straw man arguments for the sake of ratings that he doesn't even know who he really is anymore. After getting the news that his show is about to go national, Champlain goes through an existential crisis, questioning the decisions that led him to this moment and the people he's hurt along the way.
Come on, you gotta do it.
No, I don't think so.
You have to do it. Come on, I need you.
Barry, if I worked for you, I mean, the fun would go out of it, you know? There'd be a lot of tension. It might even screw up a marriage.
Fuck our marriage. Come on, this is important. I need you. Don't you want the show to be as good as it can be? Aren't you behind me?
You gotta be joking.
Of course I'm not joking.
You just said fuck our marriage.
I'm joking.
Sorry, this is getting really boring, man. I'm gonna switch to it.
I just thought that... Forget it.
You could easily watch talk radio as a companion piece to Oliver Stone's previous film Wall Street, where each film looks at the get-rich culture of the 1980s with contempt, and shows the film's two main characters compromise their beliefs and integrity for success. After watching Champlain slowly fall apart over the course of 4 days, he finally breaks down on the air, lashing out at his audience and himself.
If one person out there had any idea what I'm talking about, Fred, you're on Night Talk.
Yes. You see, Barry? I know it's depressing that so many people don't understand that you're just joking.
Jackie, you're on Night Talk.
Hello. I've been listening for years, and I find you a warm and intelligent...
Arnold.
What you were saying before about loneliness, I'm an electrical engineer.
Lucy.
Barry, my mother is from Waco, and she wants to know if you went to high school with...
Larry.
Why do people insist on calling homosexuals normal?
Ralph!
I'm in my house. I'm at home. Which is where you should be, Barry. Hey, I'm not far away. You could come over if you want. We're the same kind of people. I have beer, soup. I'm here. Come over later. I'll wait.
I guess we're stuck with each other. This is Barry Champlain.
After hitting rock bottom, for a brief moment Champlain looks like he's come to terms with who he truly is, but this newfound peace would only last a few moments. Each of these films may have been inspired by the 1980s, but each filmmaker had extremely different points of view on the decade. David Byrne took a playful, postmodern look at the time period, while Oliver Stone judged it as a superficial decade with people only caring about their careers and bank accounts. They're polar opposites of each other, and that's why I find them so interesting to watch. If you're ever able to find a copy of these two films, I strongly recommend it, especially for you younger viewers who might not have been alive for the 80s at all. Thanks for watching.